Hi, everyone. I'm Linda Bennett, your spiritual counselor and psychic host for Metaphysically Speaking. We are on every second Tuesday and every fourth Tuesday at 6 p.m. So if you're watching, you know how to find me. And you can also go to my webpage and see previous shows and old shows that I did on TV years ago, and also recommended reading list. And I've got some things to show you today, and I think you will be interested. Now, our topics today is finishing up on meditation, because of course I forgot to tell you something really important. You've been meditating, following you probably already know. And we're going to talk about angels versus guides and the fact that they're not aliens. So the phone number to call here, because if you have a personal question, that's very nice, but you need to ask a metaphysical question first. And don't say, I love this one, am I a metaphysical person? That's not a question. So the number here is 844-390-8255. That's 844-390-8255. Okay, so that's every second and fourth Tuesday at 6 p.m. And there we go. Now, for meditation that we started last week, I forgot to tell you, not only do you sit up straight with your palms open, or if you can do them like this or like this, sit up straight with no noise, no barking dogs, no radio in the background, no TV. Turn your phone volume off so nobody calls you, because that's the way it is. Isn't that the case? You're right in the middle of getting in the shower and the phone rings. Well, let it ring. So once upon a time, there were no phones. I know this is shocking. I know, there were no phones. So therefore, unless the house is on fire, that's not an emergency. That is an emergency, but that doesn't happen that often, does it? So get in the shower and do what you need to. When you're sitting doing meditation, make sure there's no noise. So you're sitting quietly, and what are you doing? You're doing Om. That's what you're doing. You're focusing right here above the nose, between the eyebrows, and to yourself, or you can chant out loud, whatever works for you. And there's no right or wrong. You can do it silently, or you can do it chanting, or you can go back to silent, or you can go back to chanting. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're actually meditating. So to yourself, you can be reciting Om, Om at any pace. Don't rush it. You're not in a rush. God's not in a rush. The universe isn't in a rush. And if you have cats and dogs, they usually lay down right around you. Even bunnies, if you have a bunny, and bunnies can be pan trained. So if you get a bunny, you have to train them just like you would a cat or a dog. Okay, and also make sure you're keeping up with your shots or your tablets or the liquid that you put on the back of the dog or the cat. Don't use flea collars. They cause a lot of difficulties, but you want to go to your veterinarian and get the proper, based upon weight, the proper type of anti-flea, mosquito, tick prevention. Okay, and don't tell me your cat doesn't need it because they don't go out. People come in your house. Okay, now my executive producer is very upset that I'm turning this into a kitty corner. I'm not. I'm just reminding you, because with all the things going on, we've got a lot of stuff and we could forget. Now, so that's the finish of the meditation. Om to yourself. Oh, wait. The longer you meditate, and just for the rest of your life, you may have interesting phenomena. Probably the first one you'll experience is what we call the Bumble Bee. And it sounds like there's a bee inside your head. You're going to hear bzzz, and you're going to go leaping up in the air because it's so startling. Everybody does. So don't say, well, I can't meditate again. There's a bee in my head. There's no bee in your head. It's just a sound of one of your chakras opening. Chakras, energy points corresponding to glands and organs within your body and the top of your head. So, and that's your pineal gland. The pituitary gland is here. And the second thing you may hear is a very distant sound of a chime or a bell. You're not imagining it. That's another chakra opening. And these will happen as you go along and meditate. Remember something interesting. You pick up where you left off when you last meditated in whatever lifetime it was. If it was 10 lifetimes ago, if it was 5 lifetimes ago, and you may say to me, well, I'm not getting anything. Well, you're not meditating to get something. You're meditating to calm yourself down and to reconnect your energies with the God force because you are part of that God force always. And you are re energizing that when you're meditating. So, home, focus, sit quietly. And if you get disturbed, just go back and meditate again. And you may have reached a level of nirvana, as some people call it, or samadhi, whatever. You won't pick up from that exact moment, usually. You will continue on from there. And it may take years before you experience anything other than relaxation, feeling like you're part of something. You may also develop a better relationship with your guides. Now, we're talking today about angels. And my daughter had a really good idea to distinguish between angels and guides. And I also want to distinguish between angels, guides, and UFOs. I love those UFO shows on a Friday night on the History Channel, but I am so tired of them thinking every phenomena is somebody in a spaceship. It's not. I promise you. It could be, but angels are not people in spaceships. Angels are not people who knew you and loved you and have crossed over. That's what a guide is. A guide is someone you knew in this lifetime or another lifetime. I feel my father occasionally, I'll look over and it'll be 4:11. And that was his birthday. I see that usually, well, it's only twice a day, so it's usually once a day that I see it. My daughter's birth mother, who I knew, gives me little things to say or things to think about or messages for her. And that's a joy. And her father's just standing there beaming. He's just a happy guy. And so that is the difference. Guides are people you knew either in this lifetime or another lifetime, or they're souls who are dealing and have dealt with some of the same issues that you're dealing with. And they say, oh, look at that poor fool. Let me give her a hand because I got through it. And this is how I got through it. So maybe you'll be inspired to read a book, find a book. Maybe you'll be inspired to meditate. Maybe you'll be inspired to realize that you need something else in the house besides you, and you want a cat or a dog. And they're a lifetime commitment. You don't give them away because you get engaged and your boyfriend doesn't like cats. If your boyfriend doesn't like cats and he's been exposed to them properly, there are unfriendly cats just like there are unfriendly people. There are unfriendly dogs just like there are unfriendly people. But anyone who says, I don't like cats, doesn't like females, period. They think females have a role to play and don't step out of that role. I have never in my entire lifetime come across anyone who did not fit that description. I even dealt with it with 2 psychiatrists I was friendly with years ago. And in our, offbeat discussions and over lunch or whatever, when I challenged both of them to go back and reflect on their clients. And they both later on called me to say, you are right. This guy has problems with his wife working and he hates cats. This guy has a problem with his daughter becoming a doctor. He says that, I'll never forget this. He said that men are doctors, women are nurses. And he doesn't like cats. So I would suggest if you're a cat person that you get a cat. And if the boyfriend doesn't like it, replace the boyfriend because you're in for trouble. Oh, I can hear it now. Yep, I can hear it screaming all over now. You'd rather have trouble now and get rid of it than trouble later on in your life. And tell him he can go to cat therapy. Now, my first ex-husband didn't care for cats. He never had dogs. His father wouldn't allow any pets. But he always thought he was a dog person until he met my Smarty. And next thing you know, Smarty's crawling over next to him. He's looking down at him, pretending he doesn't see him, looking down at him. And the next thing, he's got his arm around him. That was it. I knew he was done for. And he loved my cat. And he used to sleep, Smarty used to sleep with his pillow, his head on my pillow, and his bottom on my ex's pillow. So he was horizontal and even with the two of us. So keep that in mind when you're looking for partners. And when you're meditating, you will find that you become less interested. If you're in the bar scene, God bless you, God help you. But that's not going to find anything for you except people who are interested in bars. But when you're meditating or when you're phoning the angels, you find that you are less inclined to want to go out to bars. You're inclined to want to go maybe to the library or to a lecture or to a concert. And I'm not talking about death metal. I'm talking about something nice. We had the CNN Salute to Summer, Salute to New York concert interrupted by the hurricane this past weekend. I do not like rap music. It is violent. And some of the lyrics, like by LL Cool J, are fine. He's not denigrating women. He's happily married with children. And I don't know why they started off with that. I certainly wouldn't have, but nevertheless, there are many people in there who have real talent. And the music business is a killer business. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. And it doesn't mean this is going to be shocking. You could try classical music. You could take up an instrument. Because as you're meditating, your vibration as a soul is getting higher. And you will find that sometimes people you thought were friends suddenly fade away. And you think to yourself, he or she is in the bars all the time. That's not the way I want to live. I'll let them go. I wrote something called Thoughts on Meditation years ago. And it said, as you're on your journey, some people will be attracted to your light. Some people will be repelled because your soul starts glowing. And don't be upset because not everyone can accompany you on your journey. So it's not that you're being too good for somebody, it's that you just don't really have much in common anymore. And if you sit down and evaluate it, you didn't have much in common to begin with. And that's okay. We go through life and we find out who our true friends are. And that doesn't even mean you have to be related. I love that expression. As you go through life, you gather back your family members, very few of whom are related to you by blood. So now that's what a guide is. Someone who has chosen to be a guide, not a guardian, because that's the angel's job. But a guide is a person. And it doesn't even have to be someone from the planet Earth. It can be somebody from the planet where Anubis is from, somebody from the planet where the three guides, the three levels of God came from in India: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, Parvati, Durga, and Kali. You see, in Hinduism and Buddhism, they acknowledge the male-female energy of God. Remember, I say one God, female, male, one God. And they acknowledge it. So the concept that you're down here by yourself, so far from the heavens, so far from any kind of communication with spirituality, with life, that's not true. Your angels are assigned to you. from the moment your soul splits out from the God force. Why does it do that? Well, because it's curious. It sees a color and it says, oh, I wonder what that color is all about. And instead of staying in the mass, the God moving mass of energy and light and kindness and love and thoughtfulness and all of the wonderful qualities you could possibly come up with, some other languages explain it better. But you peek out. And if you say, oh, that's not important, I'm back here with God, you don't split out. If you say, oh, I need to find out about that, you pull a little bit away from the God force. And your guardian angel is going, this is going to be my assignment, this idiot. What does a color matter? The God force has all of the colors. What's fascinating about this? Oh, I'm in for a long haul, aren't I? They do it nicely. I'm just being a little bit sarcastic, but they think to themselves, why would you want to leave home? Well, because it's a nature of part of the God force to be curious. I think the whole thing is a failure, but God has not checked in with me on that. So the more questions you ask, the more situations you need to experience to get the answers. And you get farther and farther and farther and farther and farther and farther away. The more questions, the more answers, the more questions, the more answers, the more questions. Shut up already with the questions and just resume your energy as a natural force of light. So angels are a special species. On this planet, we call ourselves humans. We have pussycats, we have puppy dogs, we have elephants, we have trees, we have giraffes, we've got little bunnies, we've got tigers, we've got snow leopards. Each species is different. Each species is qualified to do what they're qualified to do. They're given all of the anatomy they need, all of the supplies they need. And so what's the problem? Well, humans are the problem. Humans gobble up the source of life, which is the planet. If you need a physical body, you need a physical planet. But they're created and everyone is equal. In fact, I consider the lesser species to be cockroaches and humans. They're both destructive. So as each species is different, each form of life is different, and angels are different from guides, which were human, and it doesn't matter what planet they're from, just as a lack of vocabulary, we will call people from other planets humans or people, doesn't matter. And angels are a species of light. Now I'm wearing my angel earrings today, and I hope they're not dangling in your ear, but these are my angel earrings. It doesn't matter if we get close enough to them. But I have, and I should have told my director that I have a couple of things to hold up, which I will do. Oh, if you're on audio, you won't see this. But what it is cloud formations that a friend of mine sent me, and they were photographed. And I will hold them up. Are you getting this, Mr. Director, Mr. Cameron?
Yes, we are. Just
Okay,
move it to your right a bit.
Okay, I'm ambidextrous, so this way?
Yep. Move it more to that way. There, move it more. And down a bit. And that's perfect.
I got my water here, hold on. Okay.
That's perfect. Yep, that looks good.
Okay, so there's 4 different pictures here. And if you look, they look like what we here on Earth interpret as humans, because angels don't have wings. See where my pinky is? Angels do not have wings. But we think they do. So they will appear to us in a way that we will understand, because what's the point? If you don't know what you're looking at, what is the point? So they present themselves in a way that you will recognize what they are. And I have never seen them. I've seen animals. I I saw a horse when I was a little girl. I saw an elephant. I saw a giraffe.
Where did you see them?
Up in the sky. Oh, up in the sky. Up in the sky when I used to lay down on the lawn.
And they were from clouds, though.
They were from clouds. They were not angels. They were from clouds. And these angels are from clouds, but I didn't see angels. I saw critters. And I saw a beautiful, 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 beautiful weeping willow. And I saw a beautiful evergreen, like we would call a Christmas tree. And I used to be able to move the clouds, and I didn't know till I was reading a book one day that was a big deal. And I'm certainly not the only one. I've talked to other people who used to move clouds when they were kids too.
With your mind.
With your mind, yeah. I mean, I wasn't trying to reach up and rearrange the cumulus clouds and the Sirius clouds. I just wanted them to come together. I wanted them to separate. I wanted one above the other. And I was just delighted and thought, well, everybody must do this. This is exciting. So what is the purpose of this? And I keep telling God, God, fix this planet, because the good souls on this planet, the one who are kind and loving and caring about others and about animals and about nature and about the future of this planet, are getting discouraged because we think there's no one here to help us, because evil is so dominant on the planet now. And I'll say it again, I've said it before, in my opinion, Donald Trump is the Antichrist for this time. And the people who are following him are the little mini Antichrists. And it has nothing to do with the Me Too movement. It has to do with him basically destroying the cohesiveness of the United States of America. And by the way, a couple of weeks ago in meditation, I heard Confederacy. Confederacy. What the heck does that mean? Until on the map with the reporting on the states that have the highest rates of COVID, it was southern states. And I said, Confederacy. Oh my God. These people are reincarnated from being Confederate soldiers. And anything the central government wants us to do to save our lives, to save the lives of others, they're not going to do it. So they're back fighting the Civil War again. And this is ripping the country to shreds. So think about the origins of people's behavior. If you ask the angels, they will help you. So you have a guardian angel that gets assigned to you and only you until you finally reunite with the God force. And there are no more questions. And there are no more answers, because you're in the answer. You're back in the God force. Your soul is continuous. That is what survives over and over and over again, lifetime after lifetime. And what will reunite again with the God force. And that's the angel's job. Now, there are guardian angels, and I mean guardian angels for everyone and every creature. Except for insects, they have an area guardian. There isn't a guardian angel for every cockroach or every flea. It's just an overall angel. Every elephant, every pussycat, every moose, every tiger, every snow leopard, every creature has an angel. There are angels of the woods. There are angels of the oceans. There are angels of a beautiful area, say like a park. There's an angel that oversees all the activities. There are angels for every single thing. There are angels for different diseases. And they will help you get through it if that is your karma. And they will help you with your guardian angel to cross over out of your body into the astral world and leave this lifetime behind. They're crossing angels. They're angels that watch out for children on the way to school. And every person's karma is different. And I say person rather than child, because on this planet, you come through as a baby. but you're still the same soul you were in your last lifetime and in the astral world. And your guardian angel is helping nurture you through. There are angels that watch out for pregnant mothers and try to give them inspiration. Instead of having another cookie, they'll say salt. And you'll say, oh, maybe I'll have a pretzel. I could have a pretzel instead, because you don't need the extra sugar. So if you get those feelings, understand that's either your guardian angel or angels of pregnancy. There are angels of illness. There are angels that watch out for hospitals. There are angels that help you understand that your time is coming and to say whatever you need to say to people you love. Forgive whoever you need to forgive. And get ready to leave this lifetime behind and cross over into the next existence, which is the astral world, where you review everything. And when I say everything, I mean from the moment you decided that you were going to be reincarnated in that body. And every thought you had in the womb, because they used to say, oh, babies don't hear anything. They're not aware of anything. They're just like giant lumps for the first 6 months. Well, that has been disproven 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And every mother would tell you, I feel the baby jump when my husband comes home, or I feel the baby jump when the dog nuzzles me or the cat nuzzles me or snuggles up on my tummy. And it made front page news years ago when a mother observed her child. When her soap opera came on, the child turned around and looked at the TV. And she said, that happened yesterday. My kid recognizes the tune, the whatever you call it.
Theme song.
The what?
Theme song.
The theme song. Thank you, my executive producer. The theme song of my soap opera. Of course, told the doctor, told her friends, and people were saying, that happens to me, that happens to me, that happens to me. And so we know, and I always thought, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. There's only a thin layer of skin between you and the baby, between the baby and the outside world. Of course, the baby's going to hear. Their ears don't get blocked up because they're in a little case. Of course, they hear everything. They see light. They've done tests in universities over and over and over again until it's ad nauseum, where babies can see light and dark from the outside. And there are angels that watch out for scientists and doctors. And if you have a special job like health or teaching, you will get another angel besides your guardian angel who specializes in that particular activity. If you are a long distance trucker, you can ask your guardian angel to help you out because you get tired and you need to stop. I know you want to get there by tonight, but I'm telling you, people, that's one of the reasons they're creating these automated trucks. Did you see that? Trucks with no drivers. Oh, that's a nightmare from hell. Something goes wrong. There's a thunderstorm, and the automatic driving goes out, and you've got a three-wheeler on the road with nobody driving it. That's encouraging. That's progress, isn't it? So angels are there, number one, as your guardians, individually for you, for groups of people in a neighborhood, for instance, for people who are running a specialty, like especially healthcare and especially education, and especially around silos that have nuclear weapons. If you watch, and I highly recommend that whatever you watch on Friday, make sure it's the History Channel. They have a new show every Friday. They've started the new season. There were repeats throughout the year. If it's not a ratings week, they're going to run a repeat. And the repeats are worth watching. Just hook on to the History Channel on Friday nights. I think it starts at 7. I usually start watching it at 7. And therefore, you will learn about UFOs. I've had my own UFOs. There were no angels aboard that I saw. And it's a very interesting experience. I wasn't afraid. I don't know how long I was gone, but I slept from Friday till Monday or Tuesday. And I've had several situations like that. And I was never afraid. I just always, even as a child, assumed that people from other places were watching us because the world needed help. And I was never upset. I saw a ship around 7:15 at night in June in a full sky, a fully illuminated setting sun sky. It was in the east, sun sets in the west. Brilliant, giant ship ahead. We talked about this before, but I'm making a point to tell you that UFOs are not angels. They're people who are far more advanced than we are. Most of them are positive or good or trying to help us, have been trying desperately to get humans to stop destroying the planet. And so
Patty on
therefore,
hold.
we are trying desperately. Those of us who are conscious of where we live and what we need, like, fresh water, to make changes. And please do me a favor. Don't say, well, I've been a Republican my whole life, because that party's berserk. It's because the Antichrist, Trump, has wrecked it. There are people who think that he's such a psycho, they can hook their wagon to his star. And his star is darkness. His star is darkness. That's not where you want to be. Okay, caller, first name and comment or question.
Hi, Linda. It is
Hi
Patty.
there. Hi, Patty. What can I do?
Hello. So I would like to know how you explain to people what is, the angels that come to you on the other side when you cross over.
You want to know about the angel, your guardian angels when you cross over?
Not just mine, just, who is on the other side when they come to visit you when you're crossing over?
They're, it's like paper thin veil between being in the physical body and being out of the physical body. And remember in Harry Potter, when at the end he says to his visiting mother and father and his godfather, who was played by, of course, I can't remember names, I'm allowed to say names, doesn't matter, Gary Oldman. He says, how is it, does it hurt when you die? He says, faster than falling asleep. It is that fast. Many of you have heard me say on the show that I've had over a dozen death experiences, near-death experiences, and you're here, and then in a blink, you're there. And you can see everything. You can see everybody who's there. You can see the angels because they're just giant orbs of light. And so they don't have wings, but their auras and their energy is so large that I would say just like a giant oval, and you see them. You can see them sometimes here. Sometimes I see them when I'm really exhausted and I'm doing yard work, and something will quickly pop up or come from the side or come from behind a tree and just settle for a second so I can see it. And I know that I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm going to have the opportunity to finish the chore and everything's going to be fine. When I had surgery last year, I felt the angel presence around me, and they feel warm and they feel comforting and they feel like they belong there. They feel like they are there to protect you and help you and guide you. And when you cross over, or in meditation, or in your dream state, you can see them because there's just this little film between us and the astral world. So it's like being alive, except in the physical body, except you're not in the physical body, which you can see with your astral eyes, because we don't have physical eyes, obviously, in the death state that people call the death state. So anybody we need to see, our pussycats, My pussycats and the snow leopard I helped rehabilitate come and visit. And Gracie goes all around, and I can see when she goes like this. And sometimes there are little footprints on my down comforter. And one night there was a big plop down at the bottom across my feet. And Gracie just sat there and looked. And I knew that was a snow leopard. And she's not at all surprised or startled. She's delighted. She just cannot get enough of the visits. And there's one over here, and there's one over here. And then there are angels that appear because they really enjoy the fact that she sees them and she loves them, and that she maybe needs a little pick me up, because we forget that pussycats and puppy dogs, if you're leaving the house and going to work every day, they miss us. And they see everything. In fact, I was just telling my producer that I was watching reruns of Macbeth because I never saw all of it the first time. And he wrote a two-parter on near-death experience. And the only ones that could see him when he was in the astral body, because he was in a coma and his astral body was around visiting everybody, thinking that he could be seen. The only people who saw them were the two Doberman pincers that were on the route on the estate. And they always growled at him until one day he yelled at them and they cowered. But they saw him and they were growling and snarling. And then, but Higgins couldn't see him and he couldn't understand what the heck they were growling at. So animals see spirits and we see spirits. We see everything we need to see. What kind of environment we will be in depends upon the type of person you will be in. Now, there's no hellfire with swamp, burning swamp and lava and that kind of thing, but there is a judgment. And we will do the Egyptian story of life and rebirth and judgment. I have to bring up there's a giant one up above the other wall, and I have one that is not framed, and I can bring that down and show the process you go through. But everyone and everything, including angels, that's in the area when you're crossing over, is there for you to see and experience and talk with. And everything is mind. Even when I was on the UFO, everything was mind thought. A couple of times we talked when they understood my language and I understood theirs, but everything is thought. In between people, in between groups of people, everything is contextual and everything is understandable. Nobody says, what'd you say? Because they're already getting it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Did we lose?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling. Okay, so the number,
bye.
bye, Patty. Thank you. 844-390-8255 is the number to call. And you can ask a personal question, but it's got to be after you ask a metaphysical question. That's an interesting question because people think, well, what is on the other side? What's there for me? What am I going to be walking into? And some interesting books talking about heaven. One of my favorite books, and I have two of them, and one is right here at my desk, and it's called The Cat Who Went to Heaven. These 4 books will give you a great opportunity to learn something about people, to learn something about souls changing form, and about achieving a state of calmness while you're working in your bookstore or cooking dinner or making lunch, whatever you're doing, going for a walk. And they're wonderful. The Cat Who Went to Heaven is like a sit down for half an hour and enjoying the book and reading it again. There are a lot of books out there that tell you about angels and guides, and there's a lot of crap out there. I'm telling you this because people send me books and they say, is this any good? And I will say most of it is not. Most of it is imaginary. And when I had my near-death experiences, I had my guardian angels right there with me. And they brought me up into, it looks like as you're going through the ether, as you're going through the astral world, you look like you're headed towards a giant light, and you realize that it's a hole, an opening, a portal. And your angels go right up there with you. I had one on each side when I had my third drowning. And boom, we went up, and everybody was so excited to see me. And I saw Mary, Mother, and Magdala, and Jesus, and Buddha, and who I did not realize was Green Tara at the time. And Green Tara predates Buddhism and Hinduism. Buddha was a Hindu, and people who liked his methodology of simplicity decided to call it Buddhism. Souls that I recognized from other lifetimes, souls I recognized from this lifetime, people, and they were just so loving and so excited to see me, and so helping me understand what was going on and that I had to go back. It was just pure sheer joy. I've never experienced joy like that in my life upon being brought back into the heavens. It was, I don't have a vocabulary that can explain it. It's a sensation, it's a feeling, it's a warmth. I don't do well in the heat, but this was an encompassing, surrounding warmth of love and nurturing and caring. I don't even know how else to describe it. I didn't want to leave. And that's what I said when the lifeguard revived me. He said, "Oh, she's back." Well, I'm spewing the water out of my mouth. And my father said the first thing that I said was, "Oh no, they made me come back again." And that's all I said for the next couple of days. So understand that there are many different species. Let's clear this up. Read my lips. There are no fallen angels. No fallen angels. Just like you can't stand on a rock and just flap your arms and take off flying into the sky. Why? It's not in our DNA. We don't have that capability. It is not in the DNA of an angel to be anything but light, to be anything but loving. The people who wrote the Bible, and there were many, and they all put in their own little shtick of what they think something should be. As we have discovered by looking at the Dead Sea Scrolls, there are different versions. And if you look at your Gospels in the New Testament, none of them is the same. And they were written 100, 200, 300 years after Yeshua, because that's what his name was, Yeshua, because he was Jewish. He was not Catholic. He was not the first Catholic. If I had $1 for every time some idiot said that to me. People, if you meditate, no one can lie to you because you will know the truth. One of the things that meditation does is open up a vista of truth and light. So it's not in the DNA of an angel to do anything that is not loving and kind. It's in the DNA to be a guardian angel, a hospital angel, a pussycat angel, an angel of weather. Many of the Native American tribes had it right. Many of the so-called primitive people who built these beautiful cities with divine intervention and UFO intervention did so because they understood and wanted to understand more beauty. Because angels bring beauty. Angels bring light. Angels bring nurturing and caring. Angels bring the right thing to do. There are many criminals who will tell you that something stopped them and they didn't commit the crime because something was with them and they felt they had to listen to that. And their lives did not get destroyed.
Joshua on hold.
So therefore, angels are not fallen. That was a misinterpretation of guides, because not all people who die are nice. If you're mean and nasty here, you're going to be mean and nasty in the astral world. You're going to be kept with other people who are mean and nasty. And if you choose to learn a lesson, great, you'll move forward. If you choose to keep digging yourself in a hole, when you come back, you'll be digging yourself in a hole there too, in that lifetime. You pick up where you left off. And you don't remember everything from every lifetime because you'd be falling down exhausted. You couldn't possibly take care of everything. So in the astral world, you and your guardian angel go over things that need to be taken care of so that you can move forward. One from column A, say 100 years ago, one from 300 years ago, one from 500 years ago, one from 1,000 years ago, two from 5,000 years ago. And I've said before that everyone on the planet now was in Atlantis. So everyone on the planet now has a fascination with scuba diving, with learning about Atlantis, about aircraft, about all the things that were happening in Atlantis, about the environment. Okay, we have Joshua on the line. Joshua, first name and your metaphysical question, and then you can ask a personal one. Do we have Joshua? Mr. Producer, do we have Joshua?
Yes, he's there. He's talking to you.
I don't hear
I
him.
wanted to ask you a question. I don't know if this makes any sense, but back in 2019, I was in a near fatal car accident, and I had I'm not sure if this is loud, but I had a window, like a sky window in my car, and as soon as I was hit on my driver's side, I broke my sternum, I broke my spine. It was really, really, really bad. And I woke up like 5 minutes later, and I just remember looking up through that glass, and I saw something very similar to the diagrams you had shown before, the pictures. And it did have type of a wing, but I'm not sure if it was a wing or like a cloak, like an angel. And then I remember passing back out, and I remember seeing my brother who had died a few years prior. I just saw his face smiling at me and just telling me it's going to be okay. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but I'm just wanting to document my experience with you. And I have to say this too. My dog had died a few months prior, and I literally thought I saw my chihuahua like floating above me as well. It was just
you got a blessing.
Yeah, my brother, just some type of angel cloak, almost looked like an angel in the pictures you were showing. And I thought I saw my chihuahua that had died as well. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Go ahead. Finish.
I mean, I just wanted validation. Do you think that it could have been them?
It was definitely them. It was definitely them. They were appearing to you to let you know that you've had this horrible situation. It was part of your karma, part of the menu of things you're taking care of, and that they were with you. And the dog obviously was a wonderful relationship, or the dog would have been off somewhere else. But the fact that it was there was letting you know that even animals are still there with us. Just like I was talking about my Gracie, seeing all my little pets that I've had before.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a real experience. I mean, do you remember in Harry Potter at the end where he dies and then before he comes back in his body, he said, Professor, is this happening or is it just all in my head? And Professor, did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see
Yes,
Harry
yes.
Potter?
Long
Okay.
time ago.
Dumbledore says to him, of course it's happening in your head. That doesn't mean it isn't real. So you were seeing the outer world. You were being reassured that you were going to be fine. And your
4
doggy was
minutes.
love you. So that is a blessing because you saw what many people never get a chance to see. You had a near-death experience. And that answers
It was
Patty's.
rough. It was rough to go through, but I'm almost glad that I went through it because it was validation for me that my brother's soul still exists, that my puppy, my animals that I've taken care of for years, I'm a big cat animal rescuer. I have been for 30 years. It was validation that they are there. They are there. And I agree with you about the angels, with the wings and all that. But sometimes it almost looked like a cloak, which could be mistaken for wings, but it was just like hovering above my what do they call that, sunroof. And I was in and out of consciousness, but they were there and they're like, you're going to be okay. You're not dying today. You're not going anywhere. You're
3
not.
minutes.
And it just really just changed my life. It just changed my life.
How did it change your life? Quick, we're almost out of time. Did you
Okay,
become
it changed my life and the fact that it really, really, truly reassured me that they're not there. They don't leave us. They just on, like you said, like you've always said, on a different plane, different astral projection than we are. They are always looking out for us. They're always
Right.
looking out for us.
I'm
I
really
just think
glad.
you're the bee. I've been watching you for 30 years. I just love you.
Oh, thank you. So you used to watch me when I was on TV?
Oh God, yeah. Way back when I lived in downtown Clearwater, I'm up in Crystal River now.
Oh, okay, great.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you for being such a loyal viewer, and I'm glad you found me again. And I'm really glad that you're feeling better, but I'm even more glad that you had that experience because now you know that you're part of the universe. And so therefore,
Absolutely.
you got a blessing, and we're out of time, I just was told. So thank you for calling and keep meditating and keep watching the show. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Have a blessed evening.
You
Take
too.
care.
Remember, everyone, if you just open up your hearts and minds to God's universal truth, you are going to know that God and the angels are always with you. Namaste.